Hi there, friends, and welcome back to Soul Valley. We are now on episode 8, and for today's episode, I'm going to be building a watermill. What exactly is a watermill? Well, before modern technology, they were used for all kinds of mechanical purposes to harness the power of water to turn gears. They could be used for sawmills, they could be used to grind corn, grind wheat into flour, things like that. They served a lot of purposes, and I just feel like that really fits in with the solar punk vibe. It's combining technology with the power of nature, and I just think that it's really cool. And so, I was looking around for where would be a good place to do it, and I think that this corner over here would be nice. I haven't done much over here yet, and I think that this area that I'm walking through right now would be a good area to use for kind of a farming district where I'll have all the various farms that grow food and crops and things like that as it starts to expand, and therefore I think that having a watermill over here would be nice. I wanted to kind of take advantage of the natural landscape that currently exists, and as you can see, we've got water coming from a water source way up the mountain, and rather than eliminate this water source, I think it would be cool to try to kind of harness this water source. It flows down all the way until it eventually comes down here. I'm going to do just a tiny little bit of terraforming, nothing too complicated, but I want to harness the power of this naturally occurring waterfall to create a watermill. And around that watermill, I'm also going to build a watermill house that will be housing at least one, maybe some new villagers. I also hope to do some exploration in this episode. In the last episode, I mentioned that I have now updated to Minecraft version 1.21.5, which brings an addition of many new plants and animal variants, and I want to get some of those new plants to decorate around my base. Since my concept is solarpunk, and solarpunk does involve nature, I want to get as many plants and flowers as I can, and with the addition of all the new plants in 1.21.5, I want to go find all those new plants, and especially the firefly bush. I'm really excited to get that. To make a stop at the villager hotel to trade pumpkins with some of my farmers so that I could get emeralds, and I noticed that up here, some of the fence is missing. My best guess is lightning, because I put a lightning rod right here, which that is my own fault. I should have known better. I am not the brightest all the time. I'm going to go ahead and remove this lightning rod, and then I need to corral all these villagers back inside of the hotel and repair this section of the villager hotel that was damaged by the fire. So that's a little bit annoying, but I'm going to get that repaired really quick. Alright, well that was an important lesson learned. Oh, hello. Oh man, you need health. You're my master farmer too. That was an important lesson learned. I removed that lightning rod and repaired all the damage that was done. I don't know if I lost... Well, I definitely lost at least one villager because there was a witch running around here, so that means that lightning must have struck that villager and turned it into a witch, which is a bit unfortunate, but I managed to get all of the escaped villagers loaded up into boats and then hauled all the boats into the hotel here and repaired the damage that was done, and now I just need to trade a bunch of pumpkins for emeralds, and I'm going to need a lot more than that, but the reason I'm doing that is because I want to get efficiency 5 and unbreaking on a diamond axe, and then also on a diamond hoe before I go to the nether. So I'm going to do just a bit more trading, gather some resources, whatever I can find that the villagers will trade for. Alright. My trading is complete. I traded a bunch of pumpkins, carrots, and potatoes with villagers until I had enough emeralds to get a couple of Efficiency 5 and Unbreaking 3 books, and now I've got my Efficiency 5 Unbreaking 3 diamond axe and diamond hoe, and I am now in the nether gathering warped wood and also warped wart blocks. I don't care quite as much about the warped wart blocks, but I am someone who hates to come on, there we go. I am someone who hates to leave them behind. It's just like leaves in the overworld. If you leave like one block of wood and don't let the leaves decay and then you just have hovering trees in the overworld. I feel the same way about the warped wart blocks here in the Nether. And as I mentioned in the last episode, since last episode was the first episode where I made it to the Nether, I mentioned that I've been really excited to finally have access to warped wood because it is one of my favorite building blocks in this game. And so now that I have access to it finally, I plan to use it in my very next build, which is going to be the watermill house that I'm about to build. Okay. I think this is enough warped wood for now, or warped stem, I guess is the actual name for it. Looks like I got about 4 full stacks plus 20 more on top of that, so that should last me quite a while, at least for this watermill project that I'm going to be working on. That should be enough to get me through that. But something else that I am excited about is that I can finally use these blaze rods to make blaze powder to combine with an Eye of Ender to get an Ender Eye, and I can make my first Ender chest. I have not had one of these yet. This is a very exciting time. I'm just gonna plop you down right there. And there we go, our first Ender chest. And I'm actually gonna make another one that will be my travel Ender chest. This is exciting just because inventory, as many people who play Minecraft are well aware, inventory management can be quite a pain, and ender chests are one of the first options that really start to make inventory management a lot more manageable. So that's pretty cool. Now, it's time to talk a little bit about my plan for... Can I get up here? I can. Beautiful. Talk about my plan for this watermill that I plan to build. I think the first thing that I want to do is make kind of like a little reservoir in the side of the mountain, maybe like somewhere right around there, that collects the water as it comes down. So the water pours down from the top. There's a reservoir right here that collects the water, and then it allows the water to leave the reservoir in a controlled manner rather than just flowing down the side of the mountain. It'll flow through kind of a channel that will direct it to the water mills that are going to be used. So I think I'm going to get to work on that, and I think I'm just going to use just kind of stone bricks. I'm going to kind of clean this area up just a little bit, nothing too elaborate, build that, and start working on that. Okay, I have built myself a little reservoir here. We can kind of see over the edge, and I went through and filled it up with water because obviously with Minecraft mechanics this isn't going to actually fill up this reservoir, but to make it seem like a real reservoir I just manually filled it up with some water. And then I'm gonna make kind of a little, I don't know what you'd call it, like a channel, or I'm gonna use stairs to make a path for the water to flow where we can, you know, theoretically control where we want the water to go so that it goes directly to the water wheel. I'm gonna open this up right here. Oh, that's gone. Put a stair there and put a stair there. Oh, you're not supposed to be upside down. Put that there. And then I'm gonna go, we'll say 4 out. I brought some buckets with me so that I can put that there. And will this automatically? Nope, I have to do each individual one by one. And last but not least, we fill these, and then the water flows over the edge. So I'm gonna go into FreeCam to kind of give an idea of what that looks like. So now we've got this reservoir, it collects all the water and then directs it so that the water goes where we want it to go. And then I'm going to put the wheel probably right around here. For this design, I'm actually going to have 2 different wheels. One is going to be down here, and then I'm going to build the house down in this area, and there's going to be a second wheel attached to the house. And my thoughts on this are, the first wheel is going to be utilized for electricity for the house. The turning of the wheel is going to power a generator. That generator is going to provide electricity. And then the second wheel, the wheel that's actually attached to the house, is the milling wheel. And again, this is all just for the sake of lore. This isn't actually going to be anything functional. You know, vanilla Minecraft doesn't really have electricity in that capacity. It's got, you know, redstone, but not actual electricity. So this is just for fun, just kind of adding some lore to the world. Now I just need to decide where exactly I'm going to put this water mill. And before I do that, I'm going to just cap this off for now because I don't want this water flowing down while I'm trying to build. But let's drop down. Okay, so the water's gonna fall right here. And so I think the wheel is gonna go in this vicinity. So let's see here. And I guess I don't have any wood on me. I think I'm gonna make this out of spruce wood. I should probably just go get a bunch of wood and set up a chest over here so that I don't have to keep running back and forth to my base for things. Can you believe that the only spruce that I have is 52 spruce planks and 25 spruce trapdoors? I just checked all of my wood chests, and unless I am just blatantly overlooking something, I guess I've got some slabs too. I am not seeing any other spruce. I don't have spruce logs or anything other than just this small little bit right here. And I plan to use quite a bit of spruce for this watermill build. So I am going to have... And then I've only got one spruce sapling. Is that real? Okay, I've got 4 more here. But still, that is not a lot of spruce. I thought I had way more than that. So I guess I'm going to have to do some bone mealing and get to work gathering some spruce. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the spruce right here because... Actually, let's do a 4x4. And I remember that when growing 4x4s, it only works on specific ones, but I don't remember which ones, so I might just end up wasting a bunch of bone meal here. There we go. Oh, I forgot about the podzol. That's not a bad thing now that I've got silk touch. I wanted some podzol anyway. But I'm just gonna sit here and gather a bunch of spruce wood. I got quite a few stacks of spruce logs and also got a few stacks of podzol. I eventually built up a platform high in the sky so that it would stop turning all my dirt into podzol, and I'm gonna get a good night's sleep and then get to work on building that water wheel. And since the water's going to come down right here, I think this is roughly where I want the water mill. So I'm just going to clear out a little bit of this dirt here just to make some space. I'm not going to do the full complete terraform for this just yet, but at least going to make space for the water mill. And then at some point down the road, I'll go ahead and actually do a full terraform. All right, and now that we've got the land ready, I think I need it to come down right here to be kind of the center point, because the water's going to fall just to the right of it. So what I'm going to do is put a fence there, and then an upside down staircase there, and I just put that dirt there as a temporary block. Then this there. So I've got the wheel done. Let's take a little zoom out. I think that this would be better if it were chiseled stone, but I don't have one on me at the moment, so I'll get a chiseled stone and replace that, and probably put a little spruce button right in the middle to kind of tie it together. But this is pretty much the wheel. But the problem is let me just build a little scaffolding up here. The way it's currently configured, if I were to get rid of these, it flows off on all directions. If I zoom out here, that is not what I want. I don't want it flowing all different directions like that, because that kind of covers up half the wheel and just doesn't look how I want it to look. So what I need to do is first, let me cover those back up again. I need to waterlog these 2 stairs right here, and then I also need to put some spruce signs right here and on the other side. That will control them, and then it'll just flow off of this one side, which that is what I'm going for. All right. I slept through the night and grabbed the chiseled stone that I was looking for. Let me get some scaffolding here. First step is we are going to replace you with chiseled stone. You go there, put a little button right in the middle there, and now I will be able to waterlog you, and then waterlog you. And now if I get rid of these 2 dirt blocks, beautiful. So let's take a zoom out and see. So it comes down straight into it. It doesn't flow off to the side on either direction. It flows over the top and then just straight down. And so again, right now it's kind of flowing down into here, but what I'm going to do is just create another one of these channels just like this, and it's going to direct the water over this way where the actual house is going to be. So I think I'm going to get to work on that right now, getting that next one built, and then go from there. All right, and now that we've got the second water channel completed, I'm going to go ahead and remove these to get the water flowing again. And it will flow right into there, and up close it's not exactly a perfect rendering. I could probably expand this, but I think it looks all right, especially if we go out to a distance. Let's see how that looks from a little bit of a distance, and hey, see if that looks the way we want it to look. Yeah, it doesn't really look that weird from this distance. If we go up here, so we've got the water flowing out of the reservoir into that wheel, down into the second channel, and before I finish this, it looks a little weird because it's only got a stand on one side, so it's just hovering on this side, defying the laws of physics. But before I add the second one, I need to figure out exactly how far I want this one to go. I think what I'm going to do is have it drop down one more time and then go to the second wheel, and the second wheel is going to be attached to the actual house itself, but I kind of want to mess around a little bit and figure out exactly where I think it would look good before I kind of finalize that. So I'm going to mess around and figure out where that second wheel will go, and then I'll finish up the channels from there. Alright, I did a little messing around, and I think that this is a good spot for the second wheel, but one thing that I want to take into consideration, the wheel up there was only one wide, but since this one is going to be fed from this, and it's, you know, perpendicular compared to how that wheel is, I think this one should be too wide, because it would look weird if this channel's coming and feeding water to it and the channel is giving a feet of water that's 2 blocks wide, but the wheel is only 1 block wide. So I am going to go ahead and just extend this to be 2 blocks wide. And then what I have in mind is with this one, it's going to do the same thing where the water flows in from the top onto the waterlogged blocks and then kind of flows over. And then I think I'm going to fill this entire area up with water up until probably this level right here will be filled, and I'll continue all the way through there. And from this angle, it'll look like it just kind of forms a stream that flows into the valley over there. I'm not going to do much with it just yet. Once it gets to the valley, I'll probably just have a stopping point around here, and then maybe at some point down the road do something with it. But for now, I think that would be kind of a fun touch to kind of make it look like the water comes down from the mountain, hits this reservoir, we channel it to this wheel, and then after this wheel we channel it down, then it comes down to this wheel until it reaches its final destination down here where it kind of makes a little pond, then flows down that way. And then I'm going to build the actual wheel mill house directly over the pond. So I'm going to have kind of a foundation where the base extends down into the pond, but then it kind of hovers above, not hovers, but is built above the pond directly. So right now I'm going to go ahead and make this double wide, and then I'm going to do that step of filling this up with water and kind of go from there. Hi there, Editor Bean Burrito here, because during the process of editing, I realized that my mic was not recording for this section of the playthrough, so I'm going to see if I can remember what I was talking about while I recorded this segment. I just finished filling in this little area with water and went through using water bottles to convert the dirt into mud, just because it looks a little bit better than having dirt, and I didn't feel like doing a full terraform of the pond. And now that this is all filled in, the next step, oh, why did I look that way? I don't know, I guess I was talking about something back there. But the next step is to build a foundation over this little pond that I just created. And I don't want to build in the pond, but I just want to kind of build the foundation above the pond and maybe some pillars going down into it. And so I made the very bottom of the foundation out of tough bricks, and then I added some stripped warped wood, added some decorating touches to the tough bricks, and then put a row of spruce planks lined with spruce trapdoors. And the audio was still not working in this clip, so I'm just going to do my best to try to guess at what I was talking about. But now that the foundation is done, I am ready to get started with the build. I just realized that my mic was not actively recording, so I don't know how long that was going on, but I guess when I get to editing, I'm going to have some content to re-record some audio. But now that I've got this done, I'm just going to build this up a little higher, and this is going to kind of serve as the first level, and then I will build up from there. It's starting to come together. So this is the first layer of the house, or not layer, this is the first level of the house, and hear me out. This is what I've got in mind. Since this is a wheel mill house, wheels are round, wheels are circular. I want to try to incorporate some circle designs into the build, and what I'm thinking is going along this base here, I'm going to make kind of like a cylinder. It's going to be a circle that goes all the way across, and then I'm going to have a second cylinder intersect it, so it'll start here and then go back that way. So it'll be kind of like a cross shape, so to speak, of two different cylinders. First, before that, I'm gonna get some sleep and hope that this rain stops, because building in the rain is never a good time. And after a good night's sleep, the rain has stopped. And so what I want to do, I mentioned that I want to do some cylinders. I think we're gonna start with one right here. Go up and then go there. And let's see if I can get this to do what I want it to do. Alright, and if I change my angle here... Oh, that is not what I was looking for. Let me... Alright, I want to get rid of these planks. And then this should be upside down stairs. Same over there. And then we go across. And let's see. Yeah, that's more. It's still something looks a little off. I think I need those. Okay, I think that's kind of what we're looking for. Let's go back this way. I need to eat some potatoes. And yeah, I think that once all is said and done, it kind of looks a little weird right now, but I think I will be able to tie it all together in a way that looks good. And so I'm essentially going to repeat that same exact pattern on this side and then connect them as one giant cylinder. But then I also need to make another cylinder that will intersect it, and I'm thinking right here. So as we approach from this angle, you can kind of start to see it taking shape a little bit. So now all I need to do is fill in the cylinders here so that I make these two intersecting cylinders, and then I'll kind of have the rough frame of the house built. Then all I'll have left after that is the actual decorating and the finishing touches. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fill these in, hop into a time lapse for that to make life a little bit easier, and then we'll pick up from there. We have another beautiful sunrise as we walk back towards the newly built little, I don't know what you'd call this, cylinder creation that I've got here. And right now it looks very bland because I haven't done any details or texturing, but now it has taken shape. You can kind of see the vision that I had. The foundation of tough, then the stripped warped stems, warped planks, and then we've got a platform of spruce. One of the cylinders is birch, and then one of the cylinders is oak. I wanted to use different types of wood where they intersect so that you can kind of see the distinct differences between the two. I'm going to hop into FreeCam just to show kind of the all angles here. And this build has quite a variety of wood types. We've got spruce, warped, oak, and birch. So we've got the running the gambit of all the different types of wood that we've got. I'll probably add something here to kind of look like a support, because right now it looks like it's just hovering in space. but it's really taken shape. Now you can kind of see what I had in mind, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. The last thing I need to do is just add some finer details, texturing, kind of swap out some blocks so that it doesn't look so bland. And that's one of those things that I don't really have a system to how I do it. I just kind of run around and swap things out. And I'm going to go ahead and just do one last time lapse because that can be kind of boring while I'm just running around placing things. I don't really feel like I do a good job narrating those moments. So we'll hop into one last time lapse, and then hopefully the next time I'm back on here, it will be all done. All right, I think the watermill house is complete. Let's take a closer look and see what we've got here. This is one of the rare occasions where I mixed a bunch of different types of wood, and I am okay with the results. We've got some oak, we've got some birch, we've got some spruce, we've got some warped, and usually I try not to mix that many different types of woods, but I think in this case it worked out. And I mentioned that since the theme was water wheels, I wanted to use a lot of round shapes. So we've got the round shape up here, we got more round over here. So this is the watermill that would theoretically move the grinding or the mechanical operations inside the watermill house. And up there we've got the other wheel, which if we take a step closer, I set this up to kind of make it look like an electrical generator. So I'm actually going to go into free cam here to kind of get a better view. So the water flows out of the reservoir, it hits that wheel, in theory would spin this wheel. As it spins this wheel. This wheel is connected to this, so it's kind of like a generator, those chains. We're just going to pretend that the chains wrap all the way around. This is the best that I could come up with. And then that generates the electricity in here. Then we've got wire running from here and then over to here. And then I plan to use a lead to connect that to a boat up here and then I'll hide the boat so that it's kind of out of the way to kind of look like this is giving the power to the house. So harnessing this water to create electricity to power the watermill house. And then if we take a step down here, we'll go into the house. Right now, this entrance, this staircase definitely needs some work, but my main concern at the moment was just getting the house built. I was not too concerned with the actual landscaping, so at some point soon I will actually do all the landscaping and terraforming, and I'll make this entrance area nicer besides just, you know, this staircase leading up to this door here. I used glazed terracotta. I feel like it makes kind of like a cool floor pattern, looks like a neat tile pattern, and didn't do too much in terms of decorating. A couple pictures on the wall and some glowberries. Back here we've got a nice little hanging swing, so you know, that would be a fun little thing. People could come here and swing on this nice little hanging swing here. We've got a grill back here so that whoever lives here could come out and grill, and then this is just a little outdoor seating area. And then if we go upstairs, again, I didn't go too far in decorating, just pretty minimalistic at the moment, but we've got beds. I made them cyan to kind of match the warped wood from outside, and just plants, pictures, glowberries. And I did want to make sure there was rooftop access, so if we come up here, this is just kind of like a little balcony area where we can look out over the world. And some of you may or may not have noticed that I went ahead and disabled the Distant Horizons mod. In the last episode I mentioned that I got it and I was really excited about it, but it was kind of causing some weird rendering issues that I decided I didn't actually love it all that much, and I think it kind of looks better without it. And I used the Simple Fog mod, which creates this cool fog effect. I think that it just looks a lot better looking off into the horizon, the way things look. That tree looks really cool with the, you know, with the fog effect. So this is the top of my house. We've got the reservoir over there, and Yeah, so I do want to, oh, I can't get over there. I do want to get a boat and connect it to a lead to that. So I'm going to do that really quick. I just need to go down and get a boat and then get my way up there. Okay, I'm back with my boat and my lead. And what I'm going to do is put the boat right here, connect it to a lead, and then I need to get over there without falling and dying. And I can't put that there. Uh-oh, what have I done? Oh, can I reach it? All right, I'm just gonna go for this. Ah, beautiful. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. It was supposed to stay up there. I guess I need one more leaf or something here to block it in. I guess that was too much of an opening. Take two. We put the boat down. We put that there, but this time I'm going to put this right... No. Come on. Let's see, if I get up here, I put that there. Will that be enough to hold it in? Oh, my dog just came sprinting into the room. He is rowdy right now. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but every now and again he just decides that it's time to play, and right now he has decided that it is time to play. And I am kind of stuck in this spot. Oop, my dog is now is bumping my arm, jiggling the mouse around. He's a rowdy little guy right now. But I have to finish this up and then I will play with him because when he demands attention, I can't keep him waiting long. Oh, I missed. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So if we zoom out a little bit, the boat is kind of camouflaged in with the leaves, so you can't really see it all too much. I think that blends it in well, and I wish that there was a way to connect, you know, leads from fence post to fence post. If that was possible, then I would make this a fence post and just connect lead to lead. But unfortunately, that's not an option, so I had to go chains across here and then the lead to get up to there. But I think this looks really cool. And then the last thing that I want to do is I've got some redstone torches. I'm going to put one right here, and then I'm going to put one right there, and one more right there. So let's take one more look zoomed out just a little bit as the sun goes down. We've got all the cool shapes that I wanted to. We've got this tough foundation followed by stripped warped stems. Cool different color combinations that I really like. I've got a lot of leaves decorated all around it. We've got the electric generator over there. I just think that this turned out really cool. I'm really happy with how all the different shapes kind of work together, all the different colors work together. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Alright, I took a little break and played with my dog, so he is now satisfied and will stop stomping around in the background, hopefully. But the next thing, I guess first thing, I need to get some sleep because it is nighttime. But I know that at some point I'm going to need to terraform this and landscape it, because right now I do think that the house looks really good. I'm happy with how the house turned out, but the surrounding area does not look great. However, I am just not in a mood right now to do terraforming or landscaping, and I just don't feel like doing something that I'm not in the mood to do. At the beginning of the episode, I mentioned that I was hoping to go out exploring today in search of some of the new plants and flowers that are available on version 1.21.5, and that is what I would like to do. So I'm going to get a good night's sleep, and then I am going to go off on a little adventure to try to gather some of the new resources that are available in this version of Minecraft. We are now in the desert. Oh, hey there, bud. And some of you may recognize this village because this is where I spent a lot of time in the third episode when I built the Solarpunk Hotel. This is the desert that I came to get all of the sand that I needed. And the reason that I'm here is because I want to do some exploring and look for the new 1.21.5 plants that are available. I need to go to some unexplored chunks, and quite frankly, I really don't know what areas I have not explored, but I know that my base is that direction, So I don't think I've gone much farther that direction. So I figure if I just keep going that way, I'll eventually hit chunks that I have not yet been in. Therefore, they will have the potential to contain the new plants that I want to find. But another reason that I wanted to come here is I made sure to bring some obsidian and flint and steel. That way, while I'm here, I can just throw together a quick little portal. That way, I can very easily... You get out of here. I can very easily make my way back to the desert much faster next time I want to come here. And light this up. And now, I'm not going to spend any time in the nether. I'm just going to step through just long enough to establish the portal, and then that way, in the future, I will be able to fast travel through the nether to get to the desert much faster than traveling by overworld. And I really hope I'm in a safe place. Oh, very dark. And a nice little soul sand valley, it would appear. Oh, and there's a fortress right there. Very cool. Well, anyway, back through the portal I go, back to the overworld. All right, and now we are off to explore never before seen chunks in hopes of finding exciting new plants introduced with the latest update. Alright, I've been running around, exploring, looking for the new additions that were just added in 1.21.5, and I have stumbled across a firefly bush. Oop, there we go. And I can't remember if these can be duplicated with bone meal. I thought I brought bone meal. That would be a shame if I forgot it. Okay, I've got some in here. Beautiful. All right. I can't remember if these can be duplicated with bone meal. They can. So it just spreads to one next to them. I can break it with bare hands. Incredible. So I don't really need too many. 5 is enough. Also, I guess this is a new update in 1.21.5 that villages in the loot chests, you can now find bundles, which is nice, because if anyone watched all the way from episode 1, one of my big struggles in episode 1, since I am not intentionally killing friendly animals, I was having trouble acquiring leather, and inventory management was a pain. It would have been real nice if I had access to these bundles all the way back in episode 1, but either way, I'm pretty happy about that, and going to keep on exploring. I've been finding all kinds of nice stuff in the villages that I've been hitting up, so that's pretty cool. But got myself a bunch of firefly bushes. Pretty happy about that. Alright, and it's only been about 2 minutes in real time since I recorded that last bit. I was right over that way, and I found myself a bush, which, again, I'm still new to all this, so let's find out. Yep, same kind of idea. I can just bone meal it, and it'll spread, and I guess for this one, do I need silk touch? I guess so. Okay, cool. So now I've got myself some bushes, I've got myself some firefly bushes, and time to keep on exploring. Man, my horse really decided it wanted to wander away from me here. So, let's see what else I can find. I've now found myself in a very tiny little desert biome. Oh, he's dead. And then there's a creeper over here I need to get rid of. But found myself in a tiny little desert biome, previously undiscovered, which means some of the new things, such as the cactus flower and I don't even know what they're called, but the dead grass or dead bushes, I need to go check it out. Whatever these things are, these are new. Tall, dry grass. Okay, so I can't get it with that. Does this also need silk touch? It does. Okay, silk touch. Short dry grass, tall dry grass. And can those be replicated with bone meal? And the reason I'm checking this is because that'll determine how much I gather. Okay, cool. So same concept. Neat. So I will be sure to grab some of these. Oh, I've got the wrong tool out. Okay, and then let's grab some cactus flower. First, let me get rid of these guys because I don't want it to get damaged. All right, got myself my first cactus flowers, some short tall grass, some short dry grass, some tall dry grass. Gonna grab a few cactus flowers, and I believe cactus flowers cannot be replicated. Yep, maybe there's a way to do it, not with bone meal, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it yet. But while I'm here, I'm just gonna gather a handful of these cactus flowers so that I will have some available to me. And I don't know how farming those works, if I can farm them at my base or not by just growing cactus. I'm sure that the information exists somewhere on the internet, I just haven't looked it up yet. I made a joke earlier that I'd stumbled across a small little desert, and it turns out it's not so small after all. This is still that exact same desert. I've been walking through it for quite a while now, and it just goes on, and it also comes across these badlands here, which is pretty neat. I'm still out hunting. I got almost a full stack of the cactus flowers, and so now I just need to find my way out of this desert and try to find a forest, because I really want to get, I don't even remember what they're called, but like the little yellow flowers. I don't feel like stopping the game right now to hop on Google and look up what they're called, but whatever those little yellow flowers are that just kind of blanket the ground, those are really cool, and I want some of those, so I am now on the hunt for those. Alright, and we have now stumbled across them. And to answer my question from earlier, I wasn't sure what they are called. They are just called wildflowers. Pretty straightforward. And like always, I want to check, can they... Oh, that's even easier than the others. Literally just toss some bone meal on them and they replicate. That's nice. And no silk touch needed. This is very nice. Cool. Well, with that... Oh, I forgot you were on a leash. With that, I have now acquired the cactus flower. I've got my wildflowers, got some short dry grass, got some tall dry grass, and I also stopped along the way hitting up villages and got whatever I could get from villages, so I've got a nice little stack of supplies from this trip. And with that, now it's time to make the long journey back home. I have made it pretty far from home. You can see by my coordinates. Home is at 1800 and negative 4000, and I am currently at negative 4100 by negative 2400, so I am pretty far from home. So now I get to make the long, arduous journey back. Ooh-wee. We are finally back home, and that was quite a long journey on horseback. And I am very glad to finally be back home, and it was very worth it because I got plenty of cactus flower, and then I got all of the other new plant additions that were added in the recent update, and I am so excited to decorate all around my base with these new plants. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. I had a lot of fun building the Solarpunk water wheel house, and even though it doesn't really use so much solar, I still think that it fits the vibe of Solarpunk because the water wheel is, you know, environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, sustainable, and I think that that's more what Solarpunk is about, more so than the solar aspect. And I also had a lot of fun exploring. I'm really excited to use all the new plants that I got, but with that being said, I really appreciate everyone who watched this video. If you liked it, please be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, and other than that, I will see you all in the next episode. Thanks again, everyone. See you later.